talking to a few of the people, and we're also going to be going over to the Indian Wells Brewing Company, talk to Rick Lovett, see the new brewery out there, and then back to Ridgecrest at Arby's for High Desert Roadrunners. Stay with us as City Limits continues. And welcome back to City Limits. A lot of people come up here for Whiskey Flat Days. We have not only folks from the Indian Wells Valley, 3 of them here, but we have a young fella here, Joe, who is from?
Taft.
Taft. Joe, how often do you come up here?
Like
every year?
Every year.
Were you here last year?
Yeah.
What was it like?
It was cool.
It was very cool. It was raining, if you recall, huh?
It must have not been last year. I came up here.
Might have been the year before. The year before was beautiful too. What do you come up here? What do you all come up here and see? Come up here with your family? Do you camp out?
Tonight we might. We come up here to see the Harley Davidsons and stuff.
Oh, Harley Davidson's up here. Is that what you came up in? Is your motor Harley Davidson?
Yeah, my dad is.
Your dad is. Okay, great. We have also 3 other folks here. We've got Josh, Naomi, and Tiffany, and you're all from Ridgecrest, right?
Yep.
Now, you all go to the same school. Where's that?
James Monroe Middle School. James Monroe.
Okay, sounds good. What grade are you in, Josh?
7th.
7th.
6th. 8th.
Okay, we've got each grade here represented. We're going to be running around talking to a few folks, hopefully, and it is kind of neat to see people from a long way out of town. How far is Taft from here?
Pretty far.
Pretty far. Okay, that says it all, folks. It's pretty far. Okay. Folks, we got a problem over here, apparently. I don't know what is going on, but I've heard some shots fired. Are you bothering these men?
We've been bothering men.
You've been bothering these men?
Oh, yeah.
Are you putting them where they belong?
There they go. We're going to lock them in. Oh, absolutely.
Let's see if we can say something here. Excuse me. Do you have any last words before you're locked up for good? Okay, well, that's about it, folks. I guess that's, I think that's all we have to say. Okay, how long are they in for? What's the sentence?
For life. For life.
Well, from the looks of them, I don't think that's going to be too long.
Right, no. Not
short. Very short time. Well, you did a good job out there, and you took care of the situation. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
Commanded by Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Charles Spindlock. The drill team and Color Guard platoon commander is Cadet Captain Kerry Sexton. Gary Taylor. Also riding the
And coming right down the line, we have Kern County Sheriff Carl Sparks. Good morning, Sheriff. How are you doing today? Good to see you again.
Outstanding crowd. Biggest crowd I've seen in a long time. You guys ought to really be proud. Looks like you're going to have a good time. A lot of people. Let's just have fun and be careful.
We are going to have a good time. Sheriff, thank you very much. And here he is on the stagecoach. We have County Supervisor John McQuiston. Hello, John. Good to see you. Now in the Cadillac convertible, we have Assemblyman Roy Ashburn.
That must be Susie. That's your youngest daughter. And if I had a class on, I could see who's driving. Naturally, I got all decked out and looking good, kid. Man, I'll tell you. Boys represents the 32nd Assembly District, which includes Kearnsbury counties. And he's been appointed to the State Assembly Committee. Good man.
And we've got Assemblyman Roy Ashburn here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. A beautiful day in Kernville.
Gorgeous day. We got so many people up here today.
Well, of course, this is always a great event. A beautiful day this year.
Yes, thank you very much, and you enjoy it.
Boy, these guys are doing some canvassing for votes in a big way. Now behind him, old Rebel Roy. We were looking for Rebel Roy. Couldn't find him. He's out socializing, no doubt. He's a Whiskey Flat Beer candidate. And his harlots, Trina, and Susie. Is that right? So nice to have you up around when you're up so late at night like that. RJ is driving. Sing and Debbie from Cool Entertainment are riding in Chuck and Roy's 1959 Ranchero. And don't forget that a vote for Rebel Roy is a vote for the youth center. Boy, you are all heart, Rebel Roy, I'll tell you.
This here's Annabelle. Anything you
And right there behind him is the Exchange Club honoring the Kissick family have been pioneers in the valley since 1909. Here comes the Kern River Valley Los Vaqueros Gymkhana Club, District number 35. They turn around just like... You guys are trick riders, aren't you? Oh, I tell you, you give me a thrill every time I see you. The local club is Los Vaqueros. Yeah, I know. I took 2 years of Spanish, and all I can say is matches, grashes. That's it, you know. They were formed in 1991. It's been a strong club ever since. A lot of folks out there. And I guess they get awards. Day shows have an awesome end-of-the-year awards program. Is this Perry Steinhoff? Well, Perry, they were a little confused because Perry is driving a 1906 runabout, and they're probably looking for a car. They had no idea, did they? That is fine. It was first sold by Sears and Roebuck. I'll be darned. The original catalog price, $38.75, and Perry said he haggled about that at the time. Is that right? Drove himself a good deal. The runabout is pulled by a 12-year-old quarter horse gelding named Cody. Nice looking entry. And by the way, Perry, the judges this year have moved their bribe box. It's behind. That way people don't see when you want to get that bribe in. Some real cagey-looking rascals. They're the High Sierra Riders, a very diverse group of riders from as far north as Big Pine, California, to our little town of Kernville. They represent the time when man and woman traveled by horseback. They're honoring the U.S. Cavalry, the Mountain Man, and Western Cowboy. The paint horse was born and bred locally at the famous Jake's Place, home of world-famous paints. His name is Macaroni. He's a 3-year-old and a champion to owner Wayne Barbieri. All righty.
We'll say hello to Jeff here.
Back there with his saw.
Back there with his saw. That's
He's back there with his saw.
Yeah, he's back there with a
Big saw on his shoulder.
big saw on his shoulder.
Oh, is that what it is, guys? That's pretty novel.
Hey, Jeff.
Boy, they got the high, heavy-duty equipment right here.
Listen, I got some firewood in my house. Need some cutting. Think you can come over after the parade?
Well,
I reckon I could.
All right.
I'll come by. You give me
For you.
Is this the high desert?
All right.
Right behind us here. Everybody loves them dogs, don't they? Good to see y'all. Thank you for being with us. Coming down the street, Lakeside Limousine. Lakeside is driven by owner Ron Wea. Riding with Ron is Marty O'Hara, country singer. Marty will be appearing Saturday night at the Whiskey Flat Day Street Dance. Lakeside Limousine, available for all occasions. Boy, what a smart-looking limousine. Got that waving going on. Sunday Street Dance? It says Saturday, so it's not Saturday night, huh? Tomorrow night. All righty, I want to get this right so we show up on time, you know. Boy, I tell you, that's good looking. Look like Mafia right here in front, you know. I don't know, they got them dark sunglasses. Huh? I thought it was him. He had a Twinkie in one hand, one of them little, you know.
Does he?
Yeah.
Nice sweetheart.
Let me just find out something here. Listen, Ron, after the parade's over with, can we get a ride home?
Sure, no problem.
There we go. We're all set, folks. We'll go home in style.
1928 and 1931. All right. See, this probably looks easy, but this is not easy to do. All right, I love them costumes. That's good looking. Now, Jan, don't you think I do step a little bit like this? Here comes the High Desert Fire Prevention Association. Broken China anywhere with the Station Fire Division. And they this is the most fire safe here ever. They got Smokey here, got the whole thing, I'll tell you. Ain't good to see them. Got a little smoke coming out of that mountain and everything. Smoky, sparky, all over the valves. They remember to be fire safe both inside and outside your home. Oh, look at this. Got to be the villain. Hey, you guys want to hiss and boo? Yes, boo. Oh, yeah, you got to boo the villain. You got to get in the mood for this. Yeah, a nice villain with a red cape. Now, behind this villainous creature, it's called On Our Way to Whiskey Flat.
Excuse me, sir. This parade is for decent, law-abiding people.
But I'm decent. I'm dressed. I'm wonderful. I'm very well acting. And tonight the hero will win. Hello, Madam Director.
I see. May I ask your name, sir?
My name is Sly Scavenger. My students know me as Chuck Smith.
Kenya, this is Gidget and Sugar. Sugar has been grand champion 4 years running, also won the sweepstakes Ridgecrest 1984. This is Sugar's 10th year in the Whiskey Flat Stage Parade. Won state champion in Golden State Parade 1988. And she is having a ball, isn't she? I hope. You say that sometimes, but sometimes that person riding is scared to death. Well, what do we got? We got Kern River Valley senior citizens right here bringing my lunch, don't you? Well, slow down, girl. I can't eat on the run. The Kern River Senior Citizens Incorporated deliver about 2,500 meals per month to local citizens who are able to get out and about in Boiteux. At the Dewford Downs, any miniature horse is welcome from 38 inches and under. Children and adults can drive these events. Boy, they don't want to leave that van, do they? I guess they're really quite a mind like Mighty Mouse or something, huh? Cute little rascals. Here's the James Store Wagon and Team. Boy, they've been around here forever, I tell you. W.A. James, founder of the James Store, James Station, had a wagon similar to this one you're seeing, and hauled produce and groceries to Porterville, Johannesburg, and Ramsburg throughout the Kern Valley and over Walker Pass. It took, what, 6 weeks to complete? The market was started by W.A. James, the son of Jesse James. Is that right? Oh, you devil, I was just minding through my teeth there. No, W.A. James. His son Bert, in 1929, has been serving the valley for nearly a century. They're still here, and we're proud to have them. Good to see you. I was there last night, my son. And I guess needless to say, we know who these folks are. The 3-foot lifeboat. It's off of the U.S. Navy vessel from World War II. I guess it has damage from shrapnel during the Normandy invasion. Is that right? And the colors of our Malachi Shrine Temple. So this is the actual. Oh, I see what you're talking about there. Very creative. We put a blown Chrysler in the front of that thing. We can probably get it. Now, guys, hold it here just 1 second. My skateboarders. Hey, guys, hold it. I think you ought to be in extra great. I watch these guys do some tricks out here. I feel laughter and fun, and look at this train is chasing her.
We've got
Nice lady too. Starlight, don't let him get you, kid.
Starlight. Hi, sweetie. How are you? She's only 6 years old, though.
6.5.
Oh, you're a little older now.
I'm thinking maybe very good.
Just have fun out here.
Yeah, I decorated the train and it's chasing me.
It's chasing you. You better watch out. I'm getting out of the train's way. Folks, we've got some other folks coming up right now, but while I get a chance, what I would like to do is thank Mark McCoy and MediaCom for being with us today. They're doing the camera work for me, so hats off to MediaCom, folks. Good company.
Good. Of course, the table over there, they put that on their second board, and they actually call it. Weapons Center Community Federal Credit Union, serving your savings and lending needs. Quality member service, come and say hi to them. Oh no, they're back. Here's the Shriners, Antelope Valley Shrine Cart. Dan, are you going to do some stuff for us? Now remember what I taught you. Get it right this time, okay? I worked with you boys on this. Get him. That they ever grow up. I don't think so. She's just telling me that's the big boy skateboard. Oh, it went down on you, didn't it? And he wanted to turn some brodies out here with the rest of his buddies, too. The Kernville Regulators, this is is this the 1931 Model A? I thought it was. It's a two-door deluxe. And then behind it, a 31 Model A, a town sedan. No, is that the sedan? No, that's the pickup. I can tell from here. That's a Model A pickup, 1931, with two dazzling beauties in the back. Oh, wow. 3, I couldn't see her. You was hiding from me. She's the shy one, isn't she? Goodness, look at this. That's General Plumbing of Kernville. Man, they put some work into that. Dave and Barbara Montgomery, a 1944 delivery truck, originally, I guess, a floral delivery truck, driven by David Montgomery. Barbara, his wife, and daughter joining. Vintage clothing, furnished by Somewhere in Time, formerly Uniquely Boutiquely. Tricky names. Look for opening around the 1st of March. New owners Barbara and David Montgomery. Oh, that is a good-looking entry. I'm thinking, yeah, if she had some mud tires on there, though, it'd be a little... No, maybe not. Go ahead. Captain Joe Fratella, Ventura County Sheriff. Is that right? Oh, I'll tell you, he's on the job out here. And William James Reed of Quail Valley, Lake Isabella, probably riding in there. Is that right? Joe's driving a 23 Buick Ventura. No, Buick, I guess. Ventura Sheriff's red lights and siren and all that. Here's behind them, the Red Rock Canyon Gang. Sponsors in Ramsburg, Opera House Cafe, Charlie's Ore House, Cottage Hotel, White Butterfly, Ramsburg General Store. In Inyokern, it's the Country Feed Barn and Bill Gillette. Is that right? Well, I tell you, these are desert folks right here, no doubt about it. Red Rock Canyon Gang's goal is to preserve the historical heritage of the Old West, the pioneer spirit, and the legends of the American frontier. And they do up there in Randsburg. That's a heck of a place to visit. I love that. Red Rock Canyon Gang performs the first Saturday of each month in the historical mining town of Randsburg. If you've never been up there, spend the day, do it. I tell you, it's fun.
Now, wait a minute. All right, hey, over here. I want to talk to her. I'm not telling you what my name is. Yeah. Give me a hug, sweetie. All right. Oh, man.
Marketing and mining, farming, construction industries.
You got a problem?
Hey, Ray, what'd you do with that money I gave you?
What money?
That money for them dancing lessons?
Oh.
When holding the, is that the OP4 it says here? The Army's premier desert training center, or also known as the NPC National Training Center. The 11th Cavalry, or Black Horse Regiment, was activated in 1901. I'll be darned. It was assigned to guard the border in West Germany, from East Germany and Fulda. Man, I tell you, that goes back a ways. Thanks for coming on all the way down and have some fun.
You know, I was talking to Supervisor McQuiston just a few minutes ago, and he suggested we come over. I had no idea this place was here, but we'll find out the name of it in just a moment. But joining me right now is Richard Garcia. The name of your shop is Aircraft Ignition Service.
Right, yeah.
All I have to do is reach your shirt.
Okay, yeah, okay. I just specialize in ignitions for warbirds, B-29s, B-17s, T-28s. I do all of the restorations, do a lot for the CDF, for the air tankers.
Well, you know.
I'm up here in Kernville because this is paradise.
Well, yes, it is. And you know, we do have the B-29 down there in Inyo-Kern at the U.S. Aviation Museum. Have you been involved with that?
I've been contacted by him about doing some restoration work for him. Good. And that's quite a project for him, but I think it's really going to be nice when they're done.
So what do you do in your shop up here? Do you have a lot of business or just sort of?
My business comes from all over the United States. And I do a lot of work in Canada, Alaska, Great Britain, all over. And it's mainly, that's what it is. Stuff like the B-29, like I say, the B-17s. It's all restoration.
It sounds to me like you really enjoy life.
Oh, yeah, it's good. It's been good. And I like working on the old warbirds. They got to keep more of them flying. And it's really good for the younger kids to know what we had, back in the 40s and 50s. So
yes, it is. And as I understand, there's only, let's see, that's the last one. We have an Inyo-Kern, the last restorable
one of the
that's
last
left.
Restorable ones, yeah. There's another one. The Confederate Air Force has the Fifi. And there's parts of them all over, but if they get this one going, that'll be the last one.
Well, one of the most awesome experiences I had, Richard, and it was just a few months ago. Matter of fact, I think it was around Memorial Day weekend that I had a chance to interview General Paul Tibbets, He's commander of the Nola Gay.
Yeah, he's a really interesting fellow.
Very interesting. Well, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you down there then when this B-29 gets going.
Yeah, real good.
Thanks, Richard.
You guys have a good weekend.
We will. All right, before we go down to back to Ridgecrest, see the High Desert Roadrunners, I wanted to stop a few people here up at Circle Park and find out where they're from and how they like the weekend. What do you think? What's your name?
Heather. Ellie. Jesse.
I know, I talked to you.
And I'm Dave.
Dave, you're local, right? How do you like it up here?
Oh, I love it. It's beautiful.
Okay, you are.
JD.
Okay.
CJ. Amanda.
All right. What'd you guys think of it? Where are you all from?
Sacramento.
You're from Sacramento, but you're from here.
Yeah.
Okay, but you came down from Sacramento.
Yeah, my family lives up here.
All right, so you come down here especially for Whiskey Flats. What's your favorite part of Whiskey Flats?
The dumb people.
The dumb people. You're not looking at me when you said that, I hope.
No.
Okay, well, y'all had a good time, huh?
Yeah.
Good. All right, we're going to be going down to High Desert Roadrunners. Again, I want to thank Mediacom and Mark McCoy for helping us out today. He's the one behind the camera lens right now.
And let's get some reaction from the people of Whiskey Flats.
Yeah! Well, as you can tell, it was a pretty exuberant crowd up there in Kernville, and we left and came right down here, and we're right at Arby's, and this is the High Desert Roadrunners car show. And you remember 2 weeks ago we talked to
Bill Folden,
and
Mike Hunsinger, I think. Mike Hunsinger.
That's right. We had Mike and Bill out here, and Bill was so concerned about the music being too loud for us talking. It's not. I like that music. Don't turn the music down. That's okay. We've got a example. This is Bill's Merc right here. Tell us a little bit about this 51 Merc here, Bill.
Well, it's just a Chop 51 Merc Custom. It's powered by a 350 Chevy. The color is Tower, and it's in the maroon family, as you can see. It's got a 49 Hudson grill and 52.0 subcaps on it. And the interior is Back seat's original, front seats are out of a Cordova.
Now, did you do all of this yourself?
I purchased the car up in Reno, Nevada in Hot August Nights, and but I've been refurbishing it and working along with it, and it's been an absolute pleasure.
How many people? That's better. I like that. How many people are members of the club? You got just about how many people here today?
Well, I'm not sure how many we got here. Probably close to 75 or 80. We have active membership of about 65 right now, and we're always looking for new members. Always.
You know, I imagine a lot of the young people come around here and look and say, "Wow, look at them antiques, those old cars." You know, I remember. Well, you've got right down here. There's a '56 Ford. We'll take a look at in a moment. But I can remember one morning getting up and looking in the newspaper because there's a '56 over there. I remember that the '55 Chevys were coming out. Everybody was saying, "Wait till you see what it's going to look like." It totally. And I opened it, and there was a 2-page spread in the LA Times on the '55 Chevy. And I still remember I'm on the floor looking at the newspaper, just staring at it, thinking, "Gee, if we had a car like that." Now, understand, I was years old.
Yeah.
I was 11 years old when that came out.
Yeah.
And it was an awesome machine.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're a lot of fun, and you're going to see as you kind of cruise around this today. You'll see a lot of outstanding cars, and it's just again, I'm kind of repeating myself as when I was on the show, but it's just a pleasure to be out here and let people come by and look at your car. And
it is. I see somebody here who's been involved. Chip Holloway, come on over here, Chip. Yeah, you're going to talk to me, Chip.
Chip, a real live actor.
Yeah. He expects to go out there to Mardi Gras, Monte Carlo night and all that. And hey, you've been involved in this before, haven't you?
Oh yeah, we had this at Hamburger Stand for about 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
And then I was involved with the April Fool's Run a couple years now. It's a good organization.
Now, you know, I'm going to ask him. I was just telling Bill about, I remember the new cars when they first came out. Do you remember these cars when they were new?
Yeah, I remember that Ford over there. I can't remember.
What is it, a 93? Oh. That's a 70, 69, 70?
No, I think 71, yeah.
71 Ford.
69. I bet you can remember those when they were letters. Can't you remember most of those?
Better watch it. You know, if you're ever up for re-election, Chip, I'm going to remember this.
I'm going after the senior vote here.
Yeah, I was just telling him I remember the '55 Chevy when it came out.
No,
and this music and all that. Oh, I tell you, this is really great. Really great. And we got, you know, I'm going to ask. We've got a couple of young fellows over here. If I can get them to sneak over here a second. Because, like I say, I was 11 years old. Now, can you two guys tell me real quick what year's that Corvette?
No.
No. Do any of these cars look familiar to you guys?
That one?
That one does.
All of them, actually.
All of them, actually. Yeah. Okay, you know the people here. What's your name?
It's Mike.
Mike?
Richard.
Richard. Okay, Richard, how about you? Any cars you recognize?
That one?
That one, too.
It must be his dad.
I have a...
Ride with me on it. No, they
I got a feeling there's something behind this one.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go take a look at some of these cars. Mark, you want to follow me around, or I'll tell you what, we'll just go and, yes.
We go look. Since we're on the camera, the club would like to present Chip with a little appreciation plaque. And it's for all of his support and hard work that he's done with the High Desert Roadrunner Car Club. And as you know, we've just moved from the Hamburger Stand up here. We've grown, and bigger lot, bigger place, and we went to Chip with really great concerns. But as always, a good friend and professional and understanding businessman. And he just, you know, wished us well, and will continue to support us. So on behalf of the High Desert Roadrunners, nice little appreciation plaque, and
thanks, appreciate it.
we hope to see you around more often.
Oh yeah, and even though they've moved because they've grown, which is a good thing, the Hamburger Stand supports them 100%. And I invite other businesses to help support this organization because they do a lot to give a lot of money back to the community, and they just create traffic for the city and a good environment. And it's a fun, wholesome, clean family event. So I think every business should help support them.
Yeah, they're also creating traffic for businesses here in town too.
That's right. That's right. Anything that creates traffic is good for everybody, not just Hamburger Stand. So I appreciate the years we put in, and I'm glad it helped you guys grow. So anything we can do, let us know.
Great. Thank you, Chip.
Our pleasure.
Thanks, Bill. We're going to take a look at some of these cars.
Okay.
Bill, you were talking about the People's Choice Award. Explain this to me a little bit again.
At our monthly cruise-ins, we allow the membership to vote on a car of their choice, and we give them a plaque, and it's a little reward for the owner of the car, hard work and stuff. And in January, Dave Gasparetti won the January's, and so we have a little frame here, a picture frame type deal. We're going to put all 12 winners on it, And then from there, I'm not sure what we're going to do with the picture, but we're going to do something with it. But it's just kind of promote the cars and the club again.
And we have Dave Gasparetti here, the owner. How long have you had this car, Dave?
Approximately a year and 3 months.
A year and 3 months. Do you have other cars, or just something that's a hobby of yours?
No, just this one right now. Mainly I do old police cars. This being a 71 Ford Galaxy 500, the 351 4-barrel engine, full police package, heavy duty, everything. Runs good.
Beautiful paint job on it too. That is a beautiful auto. That car definitely looks original. I mean, it looks like something the police would drive almost.
Yeah, it has been repainted and new cloth inserts on the seating. Other than that, it's original.
Where did you find this one?
Here in town, actually. Vicinity of County Line Road.
That's a beautiful car. And Mark, did you get a shot of the that framed picture right down there? The High Desert Roadrunners proudly presents the People's Choice Award winners of 1999. In upper left, you see the picture of Dave's car. Thank you, Dave.
Okay.
I got a little story about this next car that we have here. This is a 53 Merc owned by Jack Burnett. How long have you had this one?
We got it in November.
In November. Have you ever owned one before?
Oh, yeah, when I was a youngster.
Okay.
Way back when.
Way back when. Jack, a little story I'll tell you folks out there, too. And the reason why I was drawn to this car when I was going through college, a good friend of mine had a 53 Merc. It was a black one. And, of course, it was down sort of like this, you know. We used to go to the Rose Parade. And we would all go New Year's Eve, lay our sleeping bags out on Colorado Boulevard, which of course we never used. And then we get inside the Merc, pull over the side, go underneath the car, uncork the headers, drive down Colorado Boulevard, along with everybody else cruising, passing the police would come up and say, cork the headers, and we'd pull over, cork the headers. We'd go to the drags in this thing. I have got fond memories of the 53 Merc. Even the time we dropped the drive shaft on the freeway.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we did that too. So I got some fond memories.
Sounds like it.
So but you own one of these. Is that why you chose this type of car to have?
Yeah, I really liked it. Virtually, it was stocked when I had before, and virtually trouble-free. And it was not a popular one like GM cars are, you know. There's kind of few and far between.
Right. Well, matter of fact, my grandparents owned a Mercury like this. I think it was about a 52, and so did my aunt and uncle. So we've had a lot of them in the family. What engine do you have?
This is a 302 Ford.
302? Okay.
Yeah.
What did the Merc come with? What's the original?
I don't remember what the horsepower were. They were a flathead. They changed them from a flathead to an overhead in 54.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So these and everything below was regular flathead. So.
Well, that's an awesome car. And Jack, thank you for sharing that with us.
All right, thank you.
Look at another dream car of mine, and I can remember when these Mustangs first came out. This is owned by Ken, last name?
Burns.
Ken
Burns.
Burns, okay. And like I say, I remember when these 65s first came out. I had a lot of friends that bought them. At the time, I really couldn't afford it. And they were probably only about $22,300, $2,400, something like that, $2,500 perhaps.
Well, in 65 there was more. Yeah, this is a 64 and a half.
Oh, this is a 64 and a half.
Yeah, from April until the middle of August, there were 64 and a halves.
Okay.
And after August of 64, then they changed them to 65s. So this has got a little bit, it's basically the same car, but there's some difference. And the guys that own 64s, they want you to know it's a 64 and a half.
Oh, okay, so you're adamant about that. This is a 64
that's the
and a
first
half.
year,
Okay.
that's the classic one, yeah.
This is definitely the classic one. Do you recall what they cost new? What the convertible did?
About 20, let me show you.
I'll bet you've got it here too. I'll bet you have the invoice. Yeah, he's got, oh, here we go. Now you've got all the original stuff here.
There it is right there.
There it is, 273525.
That's it.
Oh my gosh.
Here's all the registrations for my brother-in-law. That's his card that he got when he bought it new. This is all the registration and purchase order and bill of sale. I've got it all.
See, it's very disturbing to me to see that you all have this out here like you're looking at an antique or something, which, and again, like I say, I remember when it was new. You do too.
Well, it's not really an antique, but it is a classic.
It is a classic. Most definitely it is a classic. That's right. That's a better.
Antiques are over 50 years
That's
old.
right. I have got to watch what I say on that one. You're right on that one. And it is a beautiful car. That's the old 289?
289. It's been bored out a little bit, and it's got a hot cam in it. mild hot cam, but
so a mild hot cam, so you can still be like a kid when you're driving. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's they built one originally. They called the Hypo, which is 271 horsepower, and the stock was about 240. But I've rebuilt this and kind of tweaked it a little bit when I rebuilt it.
Well, I'll bet you turn a lot of heads when you're driving along the road.
Well, yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Ken. I think I'd be scared to death to drive something like this on the road.
Well, I don't drive it a whole lot.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
I've had it, let's see, this is, it's been 4 years since I got it back on the road after it set for about 21 years, this set.
Oh, okay.
So I've put about 5,000 miles on it in 4 years.
Well, that's not too much, but you know, I do know that a lot of people own cars like this, classic cars, that they rent out to movie companies to park on the street.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I've heard that, but I've had people approach me about using it in a movie. When every year I go to Lone Pine to their film festival up there, they want convertibles to haul the old cowboys around in, you know, for their parade.
Oh, okay.
So I go up there every year, and some guy approached me about, you know, would I rent it out to a movie company? And I said, well, for the right money, sure.
Sure. Well, I don't know what this friend of mine got on it, but he had a 57 Ford, and the movie company would come over to his house with a flatbed trailer. They put it up on the flatbed trailer, take it to the lot, put it down, park it. Nobody would ever drive it.
Yeah, just for aesthetics.
That's right, just as background effect. And he got, I forgot how much it was, but he got a pretty good amount of money during the day.
Oh,
it's been some time ago. So, well, Ken,
if I let anybody drive it, you know, I'd want to be sitting over there.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think so. I don't think I'd even let anybody drive it if I owned something like
Well,
this.
there hadn't anybody driven it but me since I restored it.
Probably a smart thing, too. Ken, thank you very much. Pleasure. It's a beautiful car.
Thank you, sir.
Well, as you can see, there's a lot of beautiful cars here, and the folks have spent a lot of time in restoring them. We're going to take a short break right now and go over to Indian Wells Brewing Company and talk to Rick Lovett. You've read about it, you've heard about it, you've probably tasted it after buying the beverage in the store. But we are right now at Indian Wells Brewing Company with Rick Lovett, the proprietor, manager, chief bartender. I don't know, what would you call it?
Well, I'm the president of the company, but this is the
So that's right.
Okay. I'm glad to have you here, Ray. Thank you for coming.
I've been wanting to come up here.
Well, we've been looking forward to it, and we've got the place open now. Public is more than welcome to come on up. Our business hours are Monday through Friday, 10 to 3, with expanded hours and weekends coming up in the near future.
Rick, we are right in the main door, right where people come into. Now, is this what happens when they walk through the door?
People come through the front door, and they'll be greeted by a guest courtesy member that will say, "Hi, this is January from Indian Wells Brewing Company." They'll come in. They'll be able to sample the different styles of beers that we have available. They'll be able to look at some of the beer gear that we have, T-shirts, hats, buttons, balloons, and whistles, all of that stuff. They can read about some of our press on the walls. They can take their beer and they can go out into the brewery. There's a nice seating area out there for them. If someone's available, we'll provide tours for them. So quite a few different things going on.
Rick, how did this all start?
Well, it all started off, you know, ironically enough, you know, cooking beer in my kitchen. I mean, that's literally how it started. You know, as some of your viewers may remember, I was a policeman a long time ago, and I got injured, and as part of my recovery, I had to lay flat and spend a lot of time at home, and I was bored, and my wife bought me this one of these $100 beer kits, and I started brewing beer for fun. And next thing you know, my partner, Greg Antonaris, who owns the restaurant next door, the Lodge, says, you know, Rick, would you like to brew some beer for the restaurant? We started brewing beer for the restaurant just for the fun of it, and we started getting people coming up all the time asking for the beer. And then the next thing, the next evolution really was Nicoletti's asked to put the beer online at his place, which really kind of surprised us. We were not counting on any off sales at all at that point. So we put it on at Nick's, and next thing you know, John's Pizza had it, and Schooners and all the rest, and next thing you know, we took off.
So what started out as an avocation, sort of a hobby, just turned into your life's work now.
Absolutely. I mean, it just started off for something fun, something to help me get over the boredom of trying to recover from some surgeries, and next thing you know, we're making some money at it.
Great. Okay, question. Where does the water come from?
The water comes from the Indian Wells Spring, which is directly west of us. The Indian Wells Spring is part of the Death Valley Loop. There's a California historical landmark out front that says a little story about it, but basically it's the Jayhawkers were coming across. They got into the Argus Range. They discovered that there wasn't any fresh water there because the water's brackish. They then decided they needed to find fresh water. The closest local place was the Indian Wells Spring. And voila, Manly and Jayhawker saved the party by discovering the spring. And that's what we've named a couple of our beers after even. We've got Manly Bach right here. We carry Jayhawker Brown in the restaurant. So we've given those two distinguished gentlemen names of our beers. But the spring is directly behind us, and it has wonderful properties for making really fine ales and lagers, and we use it in all our operations.
You also make root beer?
We do. We make root beer here and cream soda seasonally at Christmas time. We currently have about 15 to 20 draft accounts. We make root beer old-fashioned way and literally put it in kegs just like we would beer.
Gosh, okay. And if people walk in here now, they want to see what the brewery looks like. Where do we go from here? Mark, can you follow me as we go along? Say yes. Okay, very good.
All righty. We come right through here, and we've got a little sign that says this is the brewery. And then we will step right out here into the designated seating area, and you'll begin to see what the brewery looks like.
Ah, yes. Okay, so this is where the folks come in and seat, just sit here and try out the beers.
This is an area that's designated for travelers and guests who want to come up here and they want to shake a little road dust off. They can sit in here, taste the beers, relax, watch the operation. Just a nice seating area for them.
I think that's what's fascinating about being in here is the fact that we can go right, sit right over here and watch the operation that's going along. What do we have right over here? Of course, probably you want to start from point one, I guess.
Well, that's okay. We can work our way there. This is a bank of bright tanks where finished product goes inside, and that holds thousands of kegs of beer and the equivalent in those tanks there. We really built this brewery with the idea of attracting people off the highway to give them something to do. We're between two really kind of long distances, Mojave and Lone Pine. There's really not much in between that people can stop, they can stretch their legs, they can use the restroom, they can taste a beer. And we put these bank of windows in here just really for people who sit here can kind of enjoy and look at the operation.
You know, I liken that in a way to, we were up in Northern California driving through the Napa Valley, stopping in the wineries. Same type of thing.
It is the same thing, Ray, because you're seeing beer doing the same thing that wine did 20, 25 years ago. For many years, all we had was table wines, and very few people understood the variety of wines that were available. And the wine tasting business introduced people to literally hundreds of different kinds of wine. Well, the beer is the same way. The choices up until now have been Bud, Coors, and Miller. And those guys make fine beers. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a wide variety. There's porters and stouts and Mojave Reds and Desert Pale Ales. There's lots of different styles of beer out there. And microbrewers brew small amounts of beer that enable us to be able to change recipes quite frequently. We do seasonal beers like Winter Wonder's still on right now. We'll do our spring lager. So we've got quite a bit of variety going. That keeps people interested.
Sure. Another thing it reminds me of when I was back in England, we would go to various pubs, and usually the pub would serve the ale or lager, or whatever it would be from that particular, I guess I call it a brewery. What do they call it there? Pub? I don't know.
Brew pubs.
Brew pubs, okay.
Yeah. A brew pub, by legal definition, is an operation that sells more beer on-premise than they sell off-premise. And we were, by legal definition, a brew pub at one time when we were brewing at the restaurant. Now, of course, we are a true microbrewer because we move hundreds and hundreds of kegs off-premise and move a relatively small amount on-premise compared to what we move off.
Okay, great. All right, now we move on over here. By the way, I also remember used to going to the free houses over there where they served them, different kinds, I guess.
Yes. Now, you're going to immediately see the brew house out here, and these are the copper-cladded vessels here. That is where we physically brew the beer. The beer, the whole point of it is to extrapolate sugars from grains that enable us to be able to take this sweet sugar and move it into a boiling vessel that will enable us to be able to take that product and then rack it over or move it into these bank of fermenters. And these fermenters have yeast added to them, and that yeast then eats the sugar, and the byproduct of that is carbon dioxide and alcohol. And that process, depending on whether it's an ale or a lager, could take literally days to weeks to months.
That was going to be my question, how long would it be in there? So it depends on what it is as to how long. I see, okay.
Desert Pale Ale, for example, will take about 15 days to ferment, where Mojave Red takes 6 weeks. That's one of the reasons why Mojave Red is a real smooth, rich red lager. You know, no brag, it's a nice beer because we take a long time to make it.
Go ahead and brag.
Well, thank you. It's won several gold medals.
There you go.
It's the High Desert's favorite microbrewed beer. So we really have invested quite a bit of time in it, because ales, you can literally turn them around in a matter of 15 days, and time is money in this business. If all those fermenters are full of lagers and you're backed up and that's all you can do because you have no more room or no more vessel, then you've come to a stop. We designate 3 of those tanks for Mojave Red all the time because that's our biggest seller. One of those tanks right now has Manly Bach in it. Manly Bach takes 12 weeks to finish. So depending on the product, it could take weeks to months to make.
And when it's done, now you're storing, what do you have over here? You've got the kegs here.
That's a bank of kegs there. The ones that are wrapped in the cellophane, those are clean kegs that are ready to be racked. The barrel kegs that are palletized are dirty kegs that need to be washed.
Okay. How long did it take to get this operation set up? You've been working on this for some time, I know.
We have been. You know, we ran into a lot of problems, you know, trying to put this operation together, and it took us about 18 months to get this building complete. There's a lot of environmental issues that we had to deal with. Unfortunately, the state of California, in my humble opinion, is not really business friendly. And, you know, the environmental studies and the earthquakes and the floodplains and archaeological and hazardous waste material, it took a long time, Ray. We had a lot of help from our pal John McQuiston, and our supervisor who lives in town. Without him, I'm telling you quite honestly, we might not have got it done. But after 18 months, it's operational. The only thing that we're missing is right over here, there's kind of a footprint on the ground. That's where the bottling line is going to go. So that's being manufactured right now, so that's the last piece of equipment to be moved in. If you'd like, we can go into the walk-in and I can show you how the finished product is completed.
Sure, let's take a look at that.
Okay. The product is moved from the fermenters through a plate and frame filter, and then it goes into these bright tanks, which finished product is now done. You can see some of the levels on this tank, like for example, that has 420 gallons of beer inside of it right now. These tanks are finished, completed beer, which then will be filled, or kegs will be filled from. And that product is then distributed out throughout the high desert and the surrounding areas.
And where's your bottling done, Rick?
Right now, we're not doing any bottling, Ray. We're just strictly doing draft accounts. We distribute some of our growlers, these half-gallon silkscreen bottles, to liquor stores. However, 12-ounce six-packs, that's about 120 days away.
All right. Well, you know, that's one thing I'm very interested in. I have been interested in coming up here because this is, you know, it's been so dead in the Indian Wells Valley, and now to get a new business up here, this is pretty exciting.
It is exciting, Ray. You know, I mean, I grew up here in Ridgecrest. You know, I teach high school to kids who, you know, are looking for employment after they leave high school, and it's kind of sad. I mean, it really is. You know, we took some investors on in this business, and we had tremendous success raising capital because people saw something that they believed in. And, you know, without exception, people said repeatedly, you know, Rick, we like Mojave Red, we like what you're doing, but we believe that you're doing something for the valley. And that's a tremendous vote of confidence to hand somebody your money and say good luck with it.
And I guess you're at the kind of the right time because, you know, looking for businesses up here, we can't depend on the base. You know, look what's happening there. So we've got Indian Wells Brewing Company, Front Porch Productions, FPP Studios, a lot of things that are happening here.
There is. I think we see some businessmen that are taking a chance on Ridgecrest, and, you know, there's a tremendous amount of support there. It can never be underestimated that we could have never have done this operation without the city of Ridgecrest. You know, Ridgecrest is 23 beer accounts out of like 285 beer accounts right now. So we have a lot of beer accounts. But we don't sell any more beer at any one community than we sell right here in our town. People believe that this is their beer, this is our product, and it's something to be proud of.
Of course, Rick. the beer that is sold out of town, the money comes back to the brewery, doesn't it? Yes.
Absolutely. So, you know, we have a great tax base here. That's one of the things that people liked about that we buy local, we shop local. If it can be done here in town, then that's where we spend our dollars. So absolutely. I mean, all this beer, the Arrowhead Mountain Spring Water merger, all of that stuff is distributed right here from this operation. And every single employee we have it lives in Indian Wells Valley.
That's great. Well, Rick, we thank you very much for showing us around here. And we're talking to somebody who not only talks about economic development, but is actually practicing it for our community. I'm talking to Rick Lovett, and stay with us. We'll be back with more on City Limits. And that's going to do it for us tonight, folks. I want to thank Mark McCoy with Mediacom. Mark Pirtle also is with me right now, but Mark McCoy and Mediacom are with me up at the Kern River. And want to thank the fine folks up there at the Kern River Valley, too, for helping us out with the show. To Rick Lovett, thank you for taking us through the Indian Wells Brewing Company, and to the folks here at High Desert Roadrunners. Next week we will have, and I said we should have, I'll use that term instead, we'll have Steve Morgan, Councilman Steve Morgan on, and also Deanna Ripley-Lotee. And in the following week we're scheduled to have County Supervisor John McQuiston and Phil Arnold, both talking about IWV 2000. Our second segment or guest on there, I have no idea. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week. Good night. Chip Holloway, too, for his efforts in the past few years. We're going to take a short break.
Kind of a difficult choice.
And I want to thank Rick Lovett very much. And I tell you, that root beer, as I said before, that is pretty awesome stuff that we tried. No, I didn't try it on camera, did I? Who supported us today. Mark McCoy with Mediacom. I want to thank Mark McCoy and Mediacom for their help for yeah.
There's always things to do. And, you know, I really thank Phil.
Okay, here we go. You noticed that we did talk to Supervisor John McQuiston. We will have John McQuiston on a show in about 2 weeks, along with Phil Arnold talking about IWV.
In the parking lot, whatever it is, we can make it